The whole world has been asking one question. After more than 40 years without a major war, how capable is the PLA really? The answer may be hidden deep in the heart of Africa. At the beginning of 2025, Rwandan forces cut into Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo like a surgical blade, capturing the strategic city of Goma within a week. This army, once dismissed by the West as disorganized, suddenly displayed the sharp edge of modern joint warfare. When the truth surfaced, the Pentagon was stunned to discover that Rwanda's officer corps had undergone systematic training in Chinese military academies. What they brought back was not just manuals for the Type 95 rifle, but a complete operational system, battle planning, and coordinated multi-branch warfare. When these graduates combined Chinese military thinking with African battlefields, the world realized that Eastern military strategy had already been battle-tested abroad. Permission to fire. Those 4 words echoed through the headset of a J-20 pilot. At that moment, a silent revolution had already overturned a century of air combat rules. Inside the cockpit, quantum radar pierced through the stealth layers of the F-35, while AI combat systems generated real-time attack and defense strategies. Life and death decisions from lock-on to counterattack were compressed into just 47 seconds. In a confrontation over the East China Sea, a live armed J-20 moved like a phantom, locking onto the 6 o'clock position of a US F-35. The moment the laser targeting system achieved lock, a chill ran down the American pilot's spine. The confidence once built on procedural superiority collapsed completely. As the countdown echoed over public channels 10, 9, 8, the balance of this aerial game had already shifted. The technological gap was rewriting the logic of warfare. The Baidu navigation system reduced strike errors to within 10 meters. PL-15 missiles extended coverage across entire airspace zones. The J-20's detection range exceeded its opponents by 40%. In May of that year, near Huangyan Island, an even more shocking scene unfolded. 2 J-16 fighters directly confronted a formation consisting of 1 B-1B bomber, 4 American-made fighters, and 2 Allied aircraft. Outnumbered 3.5 to 1, the Chinese heavy fighters suddenly cut into the rear of the formation. Within the no-escape zone of PL missiles, the opposing aircraft were forced into a chaotic retreat. With platform superiority and system support, winning against greater numbers was no longer a myth. April 1, 2025. Dark clouds gathered over the Taiwan Strait. Inside the Eastern Theater Command's Joint Operations Center, data from land, sea, air, and rocket forces converged like rivers. Missile units maneuvered under the cover of night, dozens of launch platforms synchronized down to the second. Fighter groups advanced from both north and south of the island, while early warning aircraft acted as airborne command centers. Naval fleets entered ready-to-strike status. The symphony of modern multidimensional warfare had begun. This massive mobilization was the physical embodiment of joint combat capability. After multiple simulated strike waves, missile units withdrew rapidly. Coast Guard vessels enforced operations around the island under the One China principle. System-based warfare proved far more powerful than the sum of individual forces. This transformation became even sharper in the South China Sea. Facing 19 nations, 300 aircraft, and 3 carrier groups during military exercises, China deployed only 1 vessel, the Type 815A electronic reconnaissance ship Tianwangxing. This 6,000-ton ship, mockingly called a sea drifter by foreign media, silently harvested the electromagnetic signatures of F-35 stealth fighters and missile systems. The US was forced to shut down advanced radars and relocate testing grounds. A $530 million show of force turned into a live broadcast of vulnerability. Meanwhile, US bases in the Philippines moved closer to Taiwan. Strategic calculations aimed to block key straits within minutes, threatening China's energy lifelines. But China's countermeasures were already in motion. Carrier groups conducted regular patrols, hypersonic missiles locked onto fixed targets, energy routes expanded beyond choke points. At the same time, shifts in global energy trade weakened US leverage. Rare earth export controls loomed like a sword over American defense industries. A supply disruption of just 3 months could cut F-35 production by 60%. Months after the Goma battle, a message left by a Rwandan officer in a graduation yearbook still echoed, "To learn war is to earn the right for peace." As their instructors now piloted J-20s over the South China Sea, this philosophy was demonstrated in full. Radio silence enforcement, tactical expulsions of foreign aircraft, close-range reconnaissance during multinational drills, all pointed to one principle: peace secured through strength is the only real peace. U.S. war simulations showed that bases along the first island chain could survive less than 48 hours under concentrated fire. As reconnaissance ships drifted like shadows and H-6K bombers lit up the night sky with anti-ship missiles, the world began to understand China's combat power had already been written into foreign battlefields, embedded in joint command systems, and defined by a doctrine that gives pilots just 47 seconds to decide life or death. At this moment, the South China Sea had become the ultimate proving ground. Another question emerges: why does the J-16 carrying 10 missiles create such complex feelings in Russia? On November 29, 2024, over the Sea of Japan, a revealing scene unfolded. Two Russian Tu-95 bombers roared through the sky, escorted closely not by Russian jets, but by Chinese J-16 fighters armed with PL-15 missiles. Russia's own Su-30SM trailed behind at a distance, almost like background actors. This moment was jokingly called the reverse mentor scenario. The J-16, once the student built on Russian technology, was now standing in front of its teacher with a shield. The Tu-95, a relic from 1956, has incredible range but is slow and highly visible, like a propeller-driven tractor in the sky. In the past, it relied on Russian fighters for protection. Now, Chinese jets had taken that role. Russian netizens joked, "It's like pairing an old phone with an iPhone as a bodyguard." The irony runs deeper. The J-16's lineage traces directly back to Russian designs. From the Su-27 production lines of the 1990s to the Su-30 platform, China absorbed and refined the technology. By 2011, it fused these elements into the J-16. Today, the student has surpassed the teacher. Powered by WS-10 engines, it delivers 18% more thrust than Russian counterparts and extends its range to 4,000 kilometers. Its AESA radar detects targets up to 450 kilometers away, far beyond older systems. Its PL-15 missiles strike targets at 200 kilometers with satellite guidance. In comparison, Russia's R-77 missile has a range of just 80 kilometers. Russian pilots joke bitterly, "We fire with faith. They just press a button." On the battlefield, the difference is even harsher. In Ukraine, Russian aircraft are forced into low-altitude bombing runs, making them easy targets. Meanwhile, the J-16 can strike precisely from 200 kilometers away. China has now deployed over 400 Ju-16 seconds, while Russia struggles with aging fleets and limited production of newer aircraft. Sanctions have disrupted supply chains. Production lines stall frequently. Even drones require foreign support. In exercises, J-16s have repeatedly outperformed advanced Russian fighters. Military exchanges continue, but the roles are quietly reversing. The balance is shifting. This is not just about equipment. It is about industrial systems, technological evolution, and strategic patience. For Russia, it feels like watching a student surpass the master, a mix of pride and quiet bitterness. As joint patrols pass through strategic waterways, one image stands out. A nearly 70-year-old bomber, heavy and loud, flying beside a sleek J-16 loaded with modern missiles. A former teacher now under the protection of its student. And in Moscow, perhaps a few more glasses are raised, not in celebration, but in reflection.